Hazbin Hotel has so many moving motives, ideas, and themes buried within itself. Regardless of opinions, it's quite cleverly done. I don't think it's necessary to cover all the political themes and connotations based on religion and things like that, but we can talk about drama. This show has plenty of mysteries that lead into future content, but I'm more curious about what's going through the minds of characters like Angel and Husk. These characters exist in a narrative world, but they are pseudo-foils of each other, and they exist with very real problems that do exist in reality. Interestingly enough, this show seems to flaunt a static protagonist and dynamic aiding characters, and this seemingly promotes the realism of the issues and problems that these characters present. Their relatable nature lies in the ways that they're broken. What can realistic characters in an unrealistic world tell us about ourselves? Hello! Thank you so much for letting me borrow your screen. My name is Oridont. I think this world kinda sucks, so let's build a new one. Warning, minor spoilers ahead for the show. Rough summary of the Hazbin Hotel. Our protagonist, Charlie, daughter of the Lucifer, is attempting to host a residence in which sinners within the topmost ring of hell can be redeemed. Though the hotel is not overly successful to begin with,
as a warning to others. Yay, pain!
they're able to successfully prove that a sinner can be resolved and sent to heaven, even in death. Much against what heaven would prefer to be the truth. In trying to recruit and onboard new tenants, we meet a very colorful cast of broken characters, each with their own baggage and pains and suffering. Now, when I see these characters, the first thing I think of is character foils, though that's not really accurate. Per the always correct internet, in any narrative, a foil is a narrative character who contrasts with another character, typically a character who contrasts with the protagonist, in order to better highlight or differentiate certain qualities of the protagonist. A foil of the protagonist may also be the antagonist of the plot. Now, I don't find this description to be totally accurate, at least in the sense that they're built to contrast Charlie. I'll use Angel as a point of reference since he seems to be the most grounded when it comes to the source of his traumas. Angel Dust, aka Anthony, is a sinner and the first resident at the Hazbin Hotel, an adult film star impenetrably contracted to an overlord named Valentino. Valentino is extremely abusive physically, mentally, and in ways I can't say out loud on YouTube. Angel consistently sells himself to others, becoming defensive upon failed forward attempts. To me, this is a type of hyper-confidence, further dramatized by this being a TV show character. Essentially, this is a poke at his lack of self-worth and insecurities based on his past. Over time, we can see Angel slowly begin to develop a stronger connection with each of the other characters, and it's beyond this point that he finally comes to the realization that he's not alone, even in hell. That is especially true after episode 4's Loser Baby.
So things look bad and your back's against the wall. Your whole existence.
Unsurprisingly, Loser Baby was a very big moment for Angel and notably Husk as well. In the song, Husk has a really strong and unique approach to showing our broken boy that material value does not match personal value. Rather than using orthodox means to comfort somebody, Husk confirms Angel's fears that he is, in fact, a loser, that he is broken, and that he is at rock bottom.
Well, let me just say you're correct.
Wait, what?
You're a loser, baby.
Obviously, this comes off very abrasive. Husk furthers this point by inferring that it's part of being human, or rather, a sinner in this case. He shows that though he lived a very different life, Husk suffers similar trauma. The main contrast being that Husk seems burdened by his own failures rather than the weight of the world around him. That is to say that even though they have very different experiences in life, they may have similar symptoms in the way of mentally isolating themselves from the rest of the world. There's something to mention about how easy it is to do that. Kind of the trauma vaulting scenario keeps us blind to how much we actually share in common with our peers. What Husk has successfully done is approach Angel at a low point where he was too emotionally weak to keep his guard up, break down his guard enough to be able to connect with him. Seemingly, Husk is very wise in this fashion and is able to actively read and see through Angel and uses a strong charismatic presence to teach Angel that he's, in fact, not alone. As well as an amazing singing voice. Oh my god. He's supposed to be traumatized when his voice is so pretty! The moral of the story is that even in hell, they have each other. And this is like 2 people out of 7, mostly wrapped up into like a 3-minute catchy song. Come on, tell me it's not like at least kind of cool. Ugh.
Go ahead, baby, sing that song. Come on.
I got no holes left to deflower.
I sold my soul to save my power.
This is all a roundabout way of saying that these characters are personifications of real issues that we as people have. I personally find that the dramatized version of these personifications, whether it be through bright colors or very specific character design, to show something like lust or trauma, is a really cool way of emphasizing an idea that may not have been so obvious while you're under the streetlight of your own emotions, where you can't see out, but everyone can see in. If you happen to be enjoying this, please remember to click subscribe down below to catch more stuff like this. Also, it's my birthday, so you kind of like have to subscribe. You subscribed, right? Right? It's common to throw characters in one of 2 boxes: static characters and dynamic characters. Static characters generally serve more as plot points rather than characters that develop their emotions and mature over time. On the flip side of this, dynamic characters will go through change as the plot progresses, generally learning something fundamental that changes their outlook and their behaviors. Feel free to debate me on this, but the protagonist of Hazbin Hotel is pretty static, while the complementing characters are pretty dynamic. That is to say that Charlie acts more as a camera for us to look through, and we follow her journey more so to watch the characters that she interacts with develop the plot. Charlie goes through a small revelation. She discovers that her partner is an angel, originally an executioner that came down to annihilate demon souls, and has to go through a short arc to find it in herself to forgive her, as this type of secret is burdensome and difficult to reveal. This is a strong revelation for Charlie, but to me, it doesn't really fight her character. This is a conclusion that I would have assumed Charlie to come to at some point. She believes in second chances. I don't see her as a dynamic character. She is a good character, and when I say good, I mean pure of heart, but not really dynamic. On the other side of that fence, Sir Pentious walked in as an egotistical maniac that surrounded and hid his loneliness with sentient eggs and a devotion to his work, spending every waking moment hyper-fixated on finding an arch-nemesis that he could annihilate. Side note, this seems like a search for importance, kind of like a Joker-Batman scenario where he doesn't want his enemy to stop existing, but rather wants to be important in somebody else's life, even if it's in a negative way. You're real for that, Sir Pentious. You're relatable, and I love your eggs. After his experiences in the Hazbin Hotel, interacting with the various characters and with Charlie, he literally gets into heaven against heaven's wishes, passing away as a martyr, sacrificing himself and his life's work for the greater good of his people. Angel and Husk both came in as hollow shells of themselves, their personalities artificially sculpted by either their self-loathing or their complacency. Husk knew that he felt alone in this world. Angel hadn't realized how alone he felt yet. When everything hit the fan, they were able to let their guards down enough to let each other in and make a meaningful connection as real friends. Angel took this a step further and stood up to his abuser.
Fuck off, Val.
Excuse me?
I said fuck off. I may have to put up with your bullshit, but you ain't fucking with any of my friends.
You forget who you're talking to.
Proved his care for his friends while unprompted and stood as the beacon of proof that sinners can be redeemed. When I say a beacon of proof, I mean that literally, like he stood at court, or at least they watched him from court as he did this unprompted. So like, I mean, that's about, yeah, no, that's, yeah, no, yeah. To me, Charlie in this dynamic of character progression and these other characters discovering themselves over time does not serve the purpose of a dynamic plot character, but more so a tether for these characters. Someone who stays grounded and stays determined through everything that's going on. In the world of hell, where everything is chaotic and you never know what's going to happen next, she offered them security. And that was something that really gave them a chance to like show themselves and be vulnerable for a second, even if they didn't mean to and even if it happened in song. Long story short, Hazbin Hotel has a lot to offer in the way of mysteries, plot threads to theorize about, and overarching themes and dynamics. Although on a deeper level, Each single character in the show holds their own importance and grounding in real-world issues presented in a fantastical setting. This show does a great job of asking the question, what can realistic characters in an unrealistic world tell us about ourselves? Remember, if you like the video enough to get to the end of it, you are legally obligated to check out this video right here on screen because I made it just for you. It's the rules. I don't make them. I just make them. Just watch the video. Mwah.